I wanted to talk to you today first to thank you for your perspective on rehabilitation. You are a big proponent of programming and giving prisoners a chance. Why is that?
If I can help them to self-rehabilitate
Right.
by providing them different skill sets and different things to expand their mind, then I'm going to do that. Then that guy, he can do his self-rehabilitation here in the prison, and then he can be a positive programmer within the prison, and then be able to help other people to program positively.
And do you believe that change is possible?
Yes, I believe change is possible. In 2012, when I became the acting warden, 63 people with life terms were granted parole by the governor. In 2013, 81 were granted release. Lifers were granted release. And then last year, 50. And so out of all those people, I kind of tracked those inmates. Only one person has reoffended and has returned into our system. The rest are very, very successful.
Right.
There's been numerous people that have written back to our counselors here. They were part of a lot of different inmate leisure time activity groups within the prison. And so now they're out there in the community and they are not being arrested. And many of them have discharged parole. And the lifers who Governor Brown has allowed to be out there, they're still out there being successful.
You know, we're way after hours here, and you're here in your office, and you'll be here long after we're gone. What inspires you to invest so much in a group of individuals that society has lost hope for, and many of whom have lost hope for themselves?
What inspires me is that they change. They change. And then what also inspires me is when you give a man hope who is incarcerated, he programs. He has a different take on life. He values life differently so that he interacts with other offenders and the staff who are in this prison in a way that, you know, he knows that I need to be a better person and make changes. And one of my ultimate things is it makes it a safer environment in the prison, because again, in here you're under controls with us as we have correctional officers and we have a lot of control. But when someone's now out in one of the cities of California, hopefully he can remember what GOGI taught him, what Life Cycle taught him, what Fathers Behind Bars, what those programs taught him, so that he can be successful. So the payoff is that I release a person who was an offender here in the state prison to be a successful citizen and to be safe in the community.
And how do you communicate that to the corrections officer who really doesn't get that vision?
And when I throw out the term to people that today's inmate is tomorrow's neighbor, it's like a light goes on in a correctional officer's mind that, okay, these guys are going home. And I explain to them, when you're facilitating in their way of releasing inmates to, like tonight, GOGI for the last 2 nights, I said, think about that you are helping to expose somebody to new concepts for them to be a tax-paying citizen and be a better person at the prison for their officer safety and the inmate safety, and then for the citizen safety, and also to reunify the offender with their families. So when I put it that way to officers, they understand there's a method to the madness and why we're doing it, if I can say it that way.
Well, do you think that most wardens have that perspective, or is there a changing tone in corrections?
They're like me, they're expanding that thought pattern to staff, to the line correctional officer who may be a little apprehensive on exposing, offenders to different inmate leisure time activity groups. So I don't think it's unique to the correctional training facility.
So is there hope?
Yeah, there's a lot of hope.
And is there hope for the system to actually be embraced by the prisoner as an opportunity?
But when it comes to our inmate leisure time activity groups, those are all voluntary. So across the state of California, at all 35 prisons, all of our prisons are increasing our inmate leisure time activity groups.
Great.
And if prisoners weren't embracing it, then none of us would have anybody showing up to those groups.
Right.
And even in our SHU facilities and in our high security facilities, which are expanding with GOGI and other different type of inmate leisure time activity groups, people are showing up.
So maybe the prisoner mentality is even changing a bit then.
I think it's changing tremendously. As you and I talked earlier, how prisoners who are coming out of SHU facilities to other level 4 prisons are saying, how can I continue on with GOGI and how can I get my certificate? And because they enjoy what they're doing. So even the inmate population and their mindset is changing, wanting to do something different because CDC, as we know it, is changing. And we are truly, truly, working to give people skill sets to be better people.
If you had one message that you could give to a prisoner, what would it be?
Well, I just want to tell you guys, I appreciate you guys' leadership and what you're doing and so forth. Keep doing it, because like I was telling Coach Taylor here, that when we give people hope, they'll be better people. And whether someone's not going to be here with us for a while or they're going to go home, then they program.
They're the only ones that can change themselves. What they need to do is do a self-evaluation and know that they can make some major changes in their life, and they need to expose themselves to a different train of thought through the different programs that our department provides them.
Well, I've got to thank you really from the bottom of my heart for your support of GOGI. You've been consistently there for us. You let us build a system that now is replicable, and we appreciate that. We're expanding very rapidly, and it's due in no small part to you and your staff. And I want to let you know how grateful we are.
Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys coming in here and providing, our offenders with GOGI. And as you and I talked earlier, I'm going to be expanding a voluntary education program into my administrative segregation, which is kind of a jail within a prison.
Right.
And part of that we're going to do is do the self-in-cell GOGI process, GOGI, study there and see how it all pans out. So we appreciate all you guys' support and so forth. And again, the main thing we're trying to do is help people, provide them with the tools to make changes and not think that I made a mistake and failed, and so now this is my life, because it doesn't have to be that way at all.
Right.
And again, with the success stories that have come out of this prison, I know that if you give a man hope, he can make changes.